a lot of it is due to what was left by the previous government. The fact is that the previous government was very secretive. We don't know what they were doing. And we assume that they have done certain things, and we formulated the way to get rid of the wrong decisions made before. But when we took over, we found ourselves, we found the truth about what they have done. For example, when they entered into the contract for ECRL, we did not realize that we cannot terminate the contract, because to terminate by one party means we have to pay huge compensation. And if we don't terminate, then we will incur huge costs. And the borrowing was very bad in the sense that it was expensive, and then it was borrowed from Chinese sources, and all payments are paid not according to work in progress, but according to a time taken. Periodically we have to pay, without regard for the achievement or the work that has been done. All these things create a big problem for us, because it is difficult for us to get out of this project. We thought that we could just cancel the project, but it was not to be like that, because they have entered into agreement which tied them up very tightly to the other party. So to get out of the other party, we need not only to offer to take over, but also to persuade the other party to agree to our views. So it has taken almost a year. We still cannot get around to determining. We have, I think, been able to talk about reducing the cost, and this is must be substantial. But the amount the other party was prepared to reduce is not sufficient for us. So many things have to be negotiated, and at the back of it is the Chinese government. We cannot afford to ill-treat a Chinese company here without incurring the displeasure of the Chinese government. So it has been a very tough thing trying to undo the wrong things that Najib has done. The civil service, for example, he had corrupted the civil service to the point where these people actually took money. We had to get rid of them, but we have to retrain a new set of younger civil servants. They are good, but they are new. They cannot manage things the way the entrenched leaders were able to. Then we have this problem of high cost of living, which is a problem for us, because despite doing away with GST, the cost didn't come down. But as you know, when prices go up, it is very difficult to bring it down in any circumstance. So now we are trying to bring it down, because high cost of living is, of course, something that the people are worried or unhappy about. Then there is unemployment. You know, when we decided to terminate all the contracts given up by the previous government because they involve some wrongdoings, we find that we terminate the contract or we stop the contract. We are not punishing Najib. We are punishing these people. And this includes not just the contractor, the subcontractor gets you. They are not involved in the negotiation or whatever. The subcontractor, the workers, the suppliers, all kinds of people get hurt because we stop. So it's not an easy task. If it involves only a few companies, yes, but we have hundreds of contracts that we stop with the intention of restarting, but at the moment we are not able to restart because some of the contracts are too costly. We have to reduce. So all these things take time, physical time, because It's not that there is no idea about how to go about it. We have about to negotiate a reduction in price, to negotiate the terms of the contract. That takes time, especially with the big companies. But the small companies also suffer, see, because they cannot carry on and therefore they have to lay off workers and all that. The workers get hurt. And we find that instead of punishing Najib, who is going around quite freely, we are punishing other people. So when we realize that, we need to reverse our decision. If we don't reverse, just because we want to maintain this decision without being accused of flip-flopping, we would do injustice to a lot of people. So people say that we flip-flop and all that. But this is based on, number one, lack of information of the extent of Najib's depredation. And secondly, that when we take action, it is not him. He's denying everything, but the people who who obtained contract in the last government, these are the people who are hurt, including the workers. We are still finding more. We are still finding more. I mean, it's almost endless. There's not only one MDB. There is the CRC, the pension fund. There is the Tabung Haji. There is Felda. These institutions have been robbed of money, and now they are suffering. Badly managed, money stolen and all that. It's not easy to solve this problem because the money has disappeared. For example, if you say you invest in Petro Saudi, if it is a real investment, we can go to Petro Saudi and maybe dismantle the thing and get back our money. But the money is not with Petro Saudi. It has traveled to many different places, and we believe finally it ended up in his account. You see, but in law, you need to prove that you are the owner. The money that goes into his account is your owner. The money that moves from one bank to another is ours. We have to prove that. Without that proof, you can't go to the court. You see, corruption is endemic everywhere. Any government will face that problem. The thing is how to reduce corruption. Eliminate it is almost an impossible thing. So during my time, I think the corruption was not so bad that the government cannot function. If the government could function, everything could be built and people trust us. But when Najib took over, there was extensive corruption involving him. He is the head of government. When the head of government is known to be corrupt, openly corrupt, then the whole government machinery becomes corrupt. So the extent of the corruption during Najib's time is a scandal of enormous proportion. When we took over, almost immediately that stopped. Our government is not corrupt, but we are getting rid of the corrupt people. We are also taking action in the courts for corruption. So at the moment, what we are receiving is information on corruption which happened before. So there are lots more. But after we took over, incidence of corruption is very small. For example, political secretary is accused of taking a watch or something like that. I mean, that is nothing compared to the billions that was stolen before. So I would say we have reduced corruption to by about 90%. We no longer have people complaining when they go to the office, they ask for money. Yeah, complete loss of trust. You know, I was told of a story while I was still out there that a lady who wants to do some business. He said, well, he has some friends, she has some friends in the government, and she expects that the friend will help her. And she went to her friend, and the friend asked her, how much are you giving up front? Her friend. You see, that's the extent of corruption during Najib's time. But now we don't hear stories like that anymore.